Today's episode of The Mom Game is brought to you by Cowden Cosmetic Dentistry. As Texas continues to open back up, don't forget that Dr. Anna Cowden and her staff can now handle all of your dental needs. Cowden Dentistry can even handle your cosmetic dental needs. Have you put off those exams or cleanings? Book an appointment now, and for a limited time, new patients will receive a free Sonic toothbrush, which, by the way, I am addicted to. And no matter what procedure you need, your comfort, safety, and the safety of the staff will be their primary concern. So call Cowden Cosmetic Dentistry today at 972-380-6223, or you can email them at info@cowdencosmeticdentistry.com. As we welcome you to episode 24 of The Mom Game. Jules,
Yes.
we're matching.
We are matching, and guess what? It's still 2020, and it is still cray as F.
Oh my gosh.
Cray as F. Can that be our new shirt?
I just want it to be over.
Me
I just
too.
want to be, okay, so funny story. We both have funny kid stories. So Henry, yesterday, they were hanging out with family at my stepmom's house, and picked him up yesterday, and we're driving home, and he's like, "So, Mom, what's going to happen next?" And I was like, "What do you mean, bud?" And he's like, like in the world. I was like, "Oh, Jesus, honey." Like,
That is a really good question.
I have no idea. And he was like, is this like the worst year of your life? And I was like, I mean, but it's up there.
Wow, he's processing.
Oh, yeah. Is this worse? And I said, it's up there. And he goes, wow, which one's worse? Like, he wanted to know, if this isn't it, please give me the background on the worst.
What could have been the worst?
So then I thought about it. I was like, you know what, buddy, you're right. This is it. This is not. And I go, but at the same time, this is probably the worst year of our lives so far, and we're still healthy. Mommy and Daddy still have jobs. Let's try to put things in perspective. Yeah, it hasn't been fun. Shit's got canceled. Everything's up in the air. But what's happening to some people is very serious. People are losing their lives. Let's put things into perspective. So it's been a shitty year, but you know what? Let's be grateful for the things that haven't happened.
Yes.
And so, I mean, kids, man,
I know,
saying some stuff.
They really are saying some stuff. I will have more on that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, we talk about, like you just said, things are weird. One thing that has changed is we have sports back.
Yeah.
That's one thing that, a couple months ago, we were like, gosh, when are sports going to come back? We want sports back. And now we're just knee deep in all of the sports that you could possibly ever want.
All of them with late starts.
And they're playoff games. So you can't say Mavs and Stars are at least. They're playoff games, so you can't say, I'm going to sit this one out.
No.
So much going on. And so I want to touch on that before we delve into, I know we have a lot to talk about with schools and the S show that schools are right now.
Such an S show.
And then also our kids and kids say the darndest things.
Yes.
We might have an episode of kids say the darndest things.
Yes.
But to start with sports, so Emily, you obviously working for the Rangers, you are back to work covering all of the home and road games, which I know looks a whole lot different for you.
Yeah.
You've been doing a great job. I try to flip over and see you as often as I can.
You're sweet.
And all of your little hits. But it's been a dramatic week for the Rangers.
I know. It's been it's insane. The stuff that blew up with Woody. We'll get to that. For being back has been great. Like I will say this, even though they're 8:00 first pitches, a lot of them, especially when we're on the road. So I don't get home till 12 or 12:30. But I will tell you, being back there, even when the team's on the road, like it's just nice to have something to go back to. I think you can identify when you went back to work at the ticket.
For sure.
And so they're having that kind of normalcy and that time away from home. It's good for me. It's good for my headspace. The team has been very up and down, started very down, then got up and then came down again. And then the controversy with Chris Woodward after Fernando Tatis Jr., who was, by the way, a phenomenal player.
Yeah,
and
he's fun to watch.
Oh, he's so fun to watch. And when
dancing in the dugout last night, just like, man, I want that guy on my team.
And fun to see. It was like why I felt about Juan Soto during the World Series last year. Like you want that for you want that for your team. You want that for the game.
Right.
So
people like that are infectious.
absolutely.
In a dugout, in a clubhouse, in an organization.
Oh, by the way, he is freaking phenomenal at baseball.
Just a couple grandies.
Like he plays, yeah. I mean, he plays hard. He's just, man. Wow. The Padres are lucky to have him, and he's a phenomenal talent and just fun to watch. But so bases are loaded. I don't even remember how many outs there were. The count was 3-0. Rangers are down 7. Padres are up 7.
3 games ago now, 3 days ago.
Yeah. So then, it's the 8th inning, and apparently, according Woody's version of the unwritten rules say you take a pitch there. He swings away and hits a freaking line drive out of the ballpark, grand slam. And
I can't help it.
Right. And so then there was talk. You saw one of his teammates, Eric Hosmer, kind of get in his ear, on the bench, and Jace Tingler, the manager, who has history, obviously, with Texas. So it just kind of turned into this thing. When I asked Woody about it after the game, I said, what was going on? And to be honest with you, and I've said this, I own it. I've covered baseball for 15 years. I do not understand the unwritten rules. I don't understand. There's a shit ton of them, a lot of them. There's certain ones that I have to know about because I have to abide. Like, you don't ever talk to a starting pitcher on the day he starts. There's just all these little things, etiquette in a clubhouse, all that kind of stuff. I didn't know about this one, but I knew that there was a hubbub about it. So I asked Woody about it. He made the comments that he didn't like it, and that was not, kind of his way of playing. Blah,
was
blah,
that
blah.
your question? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I knew there was, it was being talked about.
Right.
And then it just blew up. And everybody's like, if you don't want him to hit 3-0, don't throw a better pitch, and don't be down 7. And blah, blah. And I agree. I mean, I went to Texas Tech, and Mike Leach was the coach at the time. And when I covered that team, and he would run up it's 70-0, and he's trying to score with 2 minutes to go. Yeah. And I would always say, if you don't want him to score, line your guys up and don't let him score.
Right.
So I didn't subscribe to that way of thinking, but and I think a lot of people did, especially old school baseball guys. But that's the thing is, Woody's not like some sort of archaic old school baseball guy.
But he's been in the game a long time, and he's been around those type of people, I'm sure, who have influenced him.
But I will say this about, and I'm part of it, but baseball Twitter and baseball social media, it's very like, once they get something in their craw, and then it just snowballs. And then I felt bad for Woody, because he even said, like, I'm not saying I was right. I'm just saying this is the way I was taught. Yeah. And this is the way we do whatever.
Right.
But I'm listening to people, and and now I'm saying, man, the game is changing, and I got to change too.
Yeah.
But then people won't even hear that. They just want to keep prodding and keep poking. It's like, dude, I mean, the guy said, I understand, and I need to evolve and all that kind of stuff. So what else do you want?
Right.
Like,
I felt bad for him
don't get
too
it.
this week. I'm like, he was asked a question. He gave an honest answer about how he feels.
Right.
Everybody's not going to agree with him 100%, but that's how he answered the question based on how he feels. Now it is controversial.
Well, and we all have different, the way we view things is all based on our experiences, not just in sports, not in baseball's unwritten rules, in life in general. The way that you were raised is different than the way that I was raised. And so we see situations differently. Does that mean you're right and I'm wrong? No, it just means we have different views on things.
Yeah.
But like, people were so vicious about it.
People were.
It was really, and I like I said, I felt bad for Woody, because it's not like he was like, I'm digging my heels in, and this is bullshit, and this is not the way we play the game.
Everybody else is wrong.
You got to respect the game. That's not the way he was being. And then at that point, once the baseball Twitter world got riled up, even if someone agreed with Woody, they weren't about to go on his side, because that was so it was the unpopular opinion. There was no way people were going to step up and be like, hey, well, I mean, I kind of think that too, because then the Twitter mob would come attack them.
Yeah.
And he was, and I'm not even going to say he was on the wrong side of things. He was just on the unpopular side of this issue.
Yeah.
And he acknowledged it, and then
he even kind of he's like changing his thoughts on it based on taking in what everybody's saying.
Isn't that what we want from people?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just,
but why so like people just so vicious? Like, so I don't know. I mean, I just was like, man, and maybe it's because, and maybe I'm a homer. Maybe it's because I like Woody and I know him personally, and I know
his wife on it. I was just thinking about
and
her,
I know what I just know what a good human being he is, and I know he's not some cocky, arrogant, it's my way or the highway, and this is bull. It's not the way he is.
Right.
I just feel like people were. It was just really a weird situation that lasted a good 3 days, and I was like, are we
stop
still
talking about
really?
this?
And I mean, whatever. I mean, I guess. And then it's just like a fun punchline, like, oh, was he 3-0 on the count?
Trying to make their
and it doesn't help that but then it did help that the Rangers gave up like 3 grand slams in this series. It's like, for fuck's sake, can we just not allow a grand slam? Like,
we don't have to win. Just don't give up a grand slam.
Yes, because it just puts it on a tee, and everyone just can't wait. They've got locked and loaded 3-0 swing away jokes or whatever.
Can't wait.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I just said on the radio, whenever I weighed in about it, I said he was in the heat of the moment. It was the end of the game. His team just got destroyed.
Yeah.
Maybe he felt bad for his players, and this is just what he said, and he didn't even mean for it to have, the sort of effect that it did.
I think that's what
But when you stick a mic in someone's face every night after they're out, I mean,
and I think that's the way he was brought up in the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think you don't think you have to apologize for that.
No.
But I think for you to say this is the way I was brought up in the game, and if it's changing, kick ass.
Right.
Like the game evolves, then I'll listen and I'll adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we want from people, to evolve and be able to listen to other people's perspectives, and then it opens your eyes to something you never thought?
Yes.
But it's like,
Well,
a lot
him.
of times we only just want to align ourselves, and we only want to hear from people who agree with us, right? Like that's so easy. That's so fun. Everybody agrees and no one challenges. Like I was on a text string with my MLB girls, and I was like, y'all, if we always agree on everything, we're not challenging each other enough.
Right.
We're not encouraging each other to take different viewpoints. And I mean, I'm not saying let's manufacture, debates, but I'm saying I just want y'all to know, if you have a different perspective than me, that's cool. We don't always have to agree on everything.
That's life.
And that's what I want from my friends. Like that's what I want from people in my life. I don't want people who are just like, what you said. Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah.
Just agreeing with everything that you say.
Yeah.
I just thought it caught me off guard, for the Rangers to be in national news for that reason, and then Woody
people
coming under
rooting
fire
against him.
And then the team's had a rough streak since then. You wonder if it's like seeped into people's mindset or whatever, but hopefully, they'll pull out of it.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of promise from the group too.
Yeah.
Has it been fun covering this group? I know it's weird.
It has. I mean, I miss them. I miss
Yeah.
being around them. That's my favorite part about the job, is the relationships and the back and forth and the camaraderie and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it stinks, but I'm grateful to be back where I am, and it is what it is, and
Yeah.
we're gonna make it work, no matter what happens.
Yes, interviewing doppelgangers.
Doppelrangers, and
Doppelrangers, excuse me.
Yeah.
Have you seen mine?
I have seen yours. I did a hit.
Doesn't it look weird?
It does look a little strange because it's just like this floating head.
Yeah.
But no, it's been fun. I did a hit on oh gosh, what's his name? The drummer for Pantera.
Oh. I don't know.
Vinnie Paul.
I'm not gonna
Vinnie Paul.
bail you out there. I don't know.
You guys are in Vinnie Paul's.
Okay, perfect.
Neck of the woods.
Perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, so sports are back.
Sports are back.
I'm super grateful. As we tape this, the Stars are on the verge of advancing in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is super exciting.
Gosh. I've been like such a nutcase about it, just watching these games at home and freaking out. I just forgot how intense playoff hockey is, especially when, your husband's there in a bubble and your life's turned upside down because of the playoffs. So every little thing matters that much more.
Sure.
I feel like, to me, and I'm just a total spaz. My kids think I'm a nut. Ryder quit watching with me. He goes to another room and asks to put something else on. He's like, "Why are you screaming?" The other day he looked at me. He's like, "Mom, are you gonna cry?" It's a weird experience to be watching with little kids and not any adults.
I don't really understand what's going on right now.
No, it's all very strange.
Mommy's not okay.
Mommy's not okay. How does he explain this to his friends?
You don't want to know.
I know.
We don't want to know. There's certain things we don't need to know.
Exactly.
No.
But no, they could potentially close out their first round playoff series tonight against the Calgary Flames, and they're looking really good. I was a little worried when it all began that they weren't fully bought in.
Yeah.
It's hard to buy in anyways in a long, playoff, or not playoff run, but in a long sports season, whatever it is. Every day you have to be there mentally and be ready for it. Then when you take them away from their families and you put them in this bubble and they have to garner all that energy back up and get back out on the ice and come play this brutal sport night after night.
Yeah.
I was worried they weren't really in it
when
it first started, but luckily they've they've found that like heart and soul that we needed them to find, and they're playing tough, they're playing hard, and hopefully we can be talking about a second round series next week, and I will just get more and more used to being alone.
Yeah,
it's fine.
And the Mavs doing well too. I mean, it's 1-1 that series.
Yeah, but they look like they can totally hang with the Clippers.
And they're, again, talk about a fun team to watch. They're dude, Boban.
So
are you kidding me?
I know.
Like, I just want to be friends with him.
He is such a hoot.
When did you see the interview last night?
I did.
Oh my god! And then
with Shaq.
He did the heart thing.
Yes. Like, what was that?
Who are you? Like, you're my favorite person ever.
Who does this?
I don't know, but he's
It's hard to do.
he's like 7'10", and he's like, got this.
Right.
He's
amazing.
He's
I hope
amazing.
we can figure out a way to keep him around.
He
and
is amazing.
Luka is just, I mean, I feel like you're watching the Harlem Globetrotters sometime when you're watching Luka and just how good he is. And he's just so fun to watch, and his personality is just so like charismatic, and you just want to pull for him.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because a lot of people weren't giving the Mavs a chance.
Yeah.
And it, as of now, looks like
I
there's
think
no
the
reason
bubble.
to believe they
I think the
can't.
bubble changes the NBA. I think that home court advantage is so huge with fans in the stands that.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a huge
even
game
playing
changer.
field. So it's a good situation for the Mavs, who are the 7th seed, going up against a 2nd seed in the first round. So, okay, Stars doing well, Mavs doing well, Rangers are coming out of a funk again, but I think they're going to have a good week, and they're playing baseball still. So that's
a good thing. Yes.
So that's good. Okay, another thing that maybe not doing so well right now is schools. And what the heck is going on with schools, people sending their kids back to schools? I know it just seems like you've had a long time now to prepare, and now maybe some of the districts aren't so ready for it, and here we are.
Yeah, so Fort Worth ISD and Dallas ISD are both on the same plan, and that is virtual only for 4 weeks at least, beginning September 8th. Okay, I get the fact that there are large districts not ready to go back in person. It's safely and with all the protocols in place. Totally understand. What I do have a problem with is the fact that we were supposed to start school on August 17th, and we're now not starting until 3 weeks after that.
So when did you get that update?
So that came down. Well, see, for Dallas, it just came down today.
That's crazy.
And for us, it came down a couple of weeks ago. So at least we had time to, I guess, brace ourselves for it. But I just have it, and this has nothing to do with teachers. Nothing to do with teachers. The administration, God bless them. The administration should have had plans in place to get everything. And people are like, well, what people don't have computers? I'm like, I get that. This shit started in March. You started that process of getting technology in people's hands, making these arrangements in March. You had to plan that this was going to be a possibility, to be totally online, totally virtual for the first semester of school until Christmas break. Yeah. And so the fact that now our entire schedule, and so now we don't get out for summer until June 18th.
Oh my gosh.
So you're talking about tacking on time on the back end. So there's, I mean, granted, it's totally minuscule as far as important things in the grand scheme of things. But like, I have friends who they send their kids to camp. They sign up every year, and it's the first week of summer, and they send them every year. Or family traditions or whatever. I mean, granted, all those could be rescheduled. But I just am like, how could our districts not be ready? How could we not have been planning that? And people are like, well, teachers don't work in the summer. Get that. I'm not asking the teachers to do it. I'm saying the people who are charged with
what have they been doing?
The education of our children, and that is their job and that is their responsibility. How did they not have this squared away? And what really is being done in these 3 weeks or the 5 weeks since the 3 weeks in between when we should have started school and when we did start school or we are going to start school? So
you have nothing.
Nothing.
The rest of the month.
Not until September 8th. Not until
not
after.
Even virtual.
Nothing. Not until after Labor Day. And that's what I don't understand. Yeah. I get the in-person thing. I didn't think that was ever going to happen on time. Never imagined that. But the fact that we weren't ready virtually was a gut punch. And it's just like, come on, man. We've got to be able to get
Have you ever seen kids wanting to learn bad as they are now and wanting to go back to school and wanting some structure? This is not good for anybody.
No. And I don't think it's what anybody wants, but it does make me question the the district administrators. Like what I just wish I knew. And here's another problem is they don't communicate. They don't tell you, what's going on behind the scenes. Or how about this? If you need help doing something, I have an army of parents that would go out and literally pound the streets and say, here's your computer. Can I get what? Do you need a Chromebook? Whatever. But you're not asking for help from an army of parents that would be more than willing to help. You're not communicating what's going on. And to me, that's unacceptable. To me, that is failing in your job. And it, like I said, it has nothing to do with teachers. Not one single thing. They can only do what they're given. And they have not been given anything. And to me, that is a huge letdown. And that's on the hands of of Fort Worth ISD and now I guess Dallas ISD. I have not looked into Dallas ISD. I just saw the headline. I think that's the case. But in Fort Worth ISD, it's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
My kids are, our area is our ISD, Richardson Schools, and then Ryder and Anna are going to a little private like Montessori school, which I'm so glad I've kept him one more year in that little private school before pushing him on to public school kindergarten. So he's going to do kinder there and then do kinder again. And so I just feel like I'm maybe not as stressed as everybody with, the grade school kids. Right now, because my kids are little, like kindergarten's kindergarten. It's good, but we're not all like dying because they're not getting these skills that they need at this point in their life right now. But for me, going back to work was my saving grace. Yeah. But if I was home with them right now and like fully prepared and ready to send them to school or have like somebody come in and help them do their virtual learning, and then all of a sudden it was just pushed back like that. Like, it's just tough.
And I realize there are moving targets. Yeah. I realize that. And I realize things are going to change on the fly. I totally get that. But the bottom line is we've known since March that this was a good possibility.
Yeah.
Or even if it wasn't a good possibility, that this should have been somewhere in the backup plan. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to me, I'm
it
just
reminds
like...
me of the NFL.
Super. Right. Like,
and
we're
how
just going to
pretend. Like, let's just not talk about it. Let's say this is the date that we're going to start.
Keep having the draft and we'll keep doing all these things.
And just move forward as planned, which... Now they're getting training camps going and we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But it's just hard. It's hard on moms. It's hard on teachers. It's hard on everybody. And can we please just get this figured out?
I know.
Get the vaccine. That's another. Can I have a vaccine vent?
Oh, gosh.
So I'm like, you keep hearing about how close we are to a vaccine, whether it's here or there, whether it's Russia, whether it's this company or that company. And I feel like everybody wants to attack like the vaccine and why it's not going to work and why we're not going to do it.
And side effects.
I'm like, do you understand this is the only way to get out of this?
I know. And
is if somebody comes up, it's like, well, it hasn't been enough time. I'm like, okay, but this is something that can literally like save the world.
I know.
I know. Let's just rush this to the front of the line and
totally
maybe change our protocols a little bit if we have to.
Right. Okay. But let me be totally honest with you. Are you getting it? If it came out tomorrow, are you getting it?
Hell yeah.
You are? And your kids?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
If it's approved, if my doctor says that we can have it and the CDC approves it,
then you're doing it.
Then I'm doing it.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like I've got my kids vaccinated.
I've trusted the doctors. They
I don't know.
Pulled me out of another health crisis at one point. If that particular doctor tells me like this is safe, I have doctors that I trust.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a professional, but I know that we need to figure something out.
I
know.
So
I'm not going to like jump to critique every possible solution that we have because we're just trying to critique everything. Like, no, I don't want this crap to continue forever.
Right.
And that's the only way that we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my vaccine vent.
Right. And I don't have, I mean, like I said, it's not, I mean, I've gotten, my kids are up to date on all their vaccines and all that kind of stuff, but I'm like, this is so new.
I know.
Do we know what all it's going to do? Like, and then you see all the funny memes of like, oh, they're trying it out. Like, it doesn't do anything.
We
like
start growing like an extra like thumb out of our
like
cheek.
This guy with no shirt on. He's got big old boobs. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Well, don't scare me.
I know.
I was talking a big game like 2 minutes ago.
I know. No. I mean, I guess, I mean, for shit, I'll just listen. Like you said, listen to your doctor. Like they're doctors for a reason.
They're doctors for a reason.
I mean, especially not like just any doctor, but like doctors that you trust and that will.
Exactly.
They've got to advise their patients. They have to look into this kind of stuff.
Right. That's their job. Oh, man. So, well, hopefully we'll solve COVID eventually.
Yeah.
Remember when you thought it was a joke?
Stop.
Can
we just go back to that time when I was like, Julie, you're so overreacting about this coronavirus thing.
I know.
It's going to be just fine.
We'll have to replay that and react to it at some point because why not? We can at least laugh about it.
When Major League Baseball was like, oh, we're going to postpone the season for 2 weeks, shut down spring training and postpone the season for 2 weeks. And then it's like, okay, no.
Yeah.
Don't really I was. It's what's so funny though, is since then I have been like doom and gloom. Like I've been like, No, I mean,
know.
once I totally thought it, and then now I'm like, we're never going to get through a 60-game Major League Baseball season. We'll never make it to opening day. We'll never get through a 60-game season. We'll never do this.
Oh yeah, you've totally flipped the switch.
Completely.
Well,
flipped.
you're just mentally preparing yourself for.
Right.
So you're surprised if things do go on instead of being
pleasantly.
sad that they don't.
Yeah, I'm just. What is that like? There's some kind of psychology in that.
Yes, there
Like
is.
I'm just like. I mean, same thing with every like. I remember. I mean, before Henry tested positive for COVID, and I was going to send my kids to camp. I remember telling my girlfriend Lisa, she was sending her kid to another camp, and I'd be like, "There's no way we're going to camp. There's no way we're going to camp. There's no way." And then we get close to it, and I'm like, "Here we go!" And then I get the COVID test, and it's like, "You're not going to camp," and I'm like, "Fuck." But yeah, that's what I've done. I've just been like, there's no way this is happening. There's no way they're playing. People that think there's college football, I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, right.
That's
Whatever's
cute. You think
next
there's
in
going to
line,
be?
You're
Yes.
just going to say the same
I'm like, oh, that's
thing.
really cute. You think there's going to be college football?
Right.
Like,
Next, it's going to be like.
I'm so negative Nelly now. Like I'm
know.
doom and gloom Jones.
Do you think we're going to have Christmas? And Halloween? I do worry about the holidays. Is trick or treating going to happen?
I
Can you
hope
hand out
Halloween
candy?
is over.
You take that back.
How many times can your kid wear the effing costume?
What do you mean?
You got to wear it for the church festival. You got to wear it.
You were doom and gloom.
First school. No, I'm
holiday
not.
person.
I'm not. I'm just anti Valentine's Day and anti Halloween.
Okay.
I am because those costumes they get worn. They're just.
But the kids love it.
Do they?
They do.
Do they?
Halloween is both of my kids' favorite holiday.
Okay.
Now I
Well,
think Anna's just copying whatever
yeah.
Ryder says. She doesn't really know.
Right.
But they both are like
They love-
Halloween. They love Halloween. If you ask them their favorite holiday, it's Halloween. I think it's because
okay,
of
the
the candy and the dressing up.
Okay, I need to get.
But it's just
I need
fun.
to. You're right. I need to be a better person and mom.
No,
but
it's
I'm
okay.
not budging on Valentine's Day. That
Okay.
shit is exhausting. You
Yeah.
have to do each individual, and you can't get the
for the
allergies
classes.
and the classes, and get the shoe box and decorate it. I'm out.
I guess we probably
I
won't be able to do
am-
that, or just no candy.
Oh, so sad.
So lucky
Valentine's
you.
Day is canceled.
I worry about sitting on Santa's lap.
Oh, well,
That's my worry. Your kids are too big for that anyway.
No, sitting on his lap. I mean, we're probably in the tail end of Santa anyway. Yeah. And Hattie's, my younger one's probably sniffing it out quicker than Henry is.
Oh gosh, we're gonna have to do a whole thing about Santa.
And the Easter Bunny.
And the Easter Bunny, and what we tell kids.
Speaking of,
Yes.
did I tell you my Easter Bunny story?
No.
So my
What's
kids
your
were
Easter
like,
Bunny
so
story?
this is like 2 years ago. My kids are like, so some people say the Easter Bunny. We had never done baskets for my kids, the Easter baskets, and they're like,
You've never-
so,
okay.
we never had. And they were like, so somebody said, some of my friends, they got an Easter basket from the Easter Bunny. And I was like, really? I was like, oh, you know what? You have to write him a letter if you want him to come to your house. And so,
and that's why they never got
that's
it.
why they never got it. So then they wrote a letter. And then, but I survived the first 7 years of my kids' lives. So 7 years of Henry.
Wow.
5 years of Hattie with no Easter baskets.
Wow.
And then we had him for 1 year. And then the second year they busted me in the closet. And I'm like, there's no Easter Bunny, but if you want a basket.
Oh,
you
they
can have it."
caught you. Oh,
Yeah.
that's painful.
But I went through, I had 7 years
that
of
was smart.
yeah.
And how did you know what to say? See,
I just make shit up.
yeah.
Just make it
But
up.
you have to have that ready
Yeah.
at the top of
Yeah.
your mind.
I was like, oh, you
at
gotta.
any given moment.
But
Where
that's
are
the
they
way,
gonna-
but that's why you sell it as a parent.
Okay.
You gotta be quick.
So I had an experience with this last night
Yeah.
and not being prepared for
Yeah.
questions.
You gotta be ready.
And so I have to tell you about it. I tweeted about it because I was just sitting there freaking alone again. And I'm like, this is funny. I want to laugh with strangers about it. Because that's what I do these days.
Awesome.
I'm going to start doing Instagram where I just tell stories at night about my life and no one listens. Okay, so last night I'm putting Ryder to bed, and this is my nightly struggle because obviously I'm working for a sports radio station and I'm supposed to be informed on what's happening every night in every sport all the time. Luckily, I'm not one of the hosts that has to really know everything,
Yeah.
so I can just
Chime in.
I can just chime in when I
There
feel
you go.
good about it. But I want to watch the Mavs too. Not only do I need to know, but I want to watch the Mavs because they're so fun to watch. And last night I was all excited about watching the Mavs game, and I'm trying to put Ryder down. And I've just fully surrendered to him sleeping in my bed while Kelly's gone.
Yeah, I let
Because-
the kids stay with me when Mike's gone.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, well, his bed's upstairs, so it's really far away. So I kind of like having them both, like all three of us right there in the same wing. And then I like having company. Like,
yeah, we don't ever do it unless Mike. I mean, that's never been a thing for us. Like even when they were babies, we were like out at 10 weeks, like you're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Mike's out of town, I like them to be.
Well, and it helps Ryder not be like so incredibly sad about him being gone, because there's a little like give and take.
Treat.
He's like, I get to sleep with mom, so it's okay. So anyways, his bedtimes though, even with that, like they take forever.
Yeah.
So last night I'm sitting there talking to him I put him down and then I came back out to watch the Mavs and I thought we were good. And he comes out and he's like, Mom, can we have a talk? I just want to talk. Can we just chit chat? And I'm like, how do I say no to that? So I go back there, I lay down with him, and this is how it started. So we a lot of times will talk about what our favorite part of the day was at night.
We do that
and
too.
So usually I'll ask him what his favorite part of the day was. And yesterday he tried to ask me, but he like got it mixed up a little bit. And he was like, "What's your favorite day?" And I was like, "What's my favorite day?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's your favorite day?" And I was like, "Well,
Saturday."
Saturday, good answer. Obviously, Ryder, come on. Oh wait, maybe Tuesday because you're gone. No. Just kidding.
Stop it.
Just kidding. I love you, Ryder Forbes. But so I told him, well, my favorite day was probably the day you were born,
Aww.
May 24th, 2015. And so it gets him like in this whole like tailspin about being born. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sitting there just like trying to like answer his questions and move on. And he's like, well, Mom, how was I born? And where did I come out? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh crap. Oh my God, I'm not prepared for this. Like, Kelly and I haven't talked about like how to talk about all this with them. I don't know what to say. He's old enough where you like don't want to just lie. Yeah. You don't want to do the stork thing. Yeah. Like he's not like 3, he's 5 and he hangs out with kids that are like 7 on our street and things like that. So I'm just kind of like, well, you came out of mommy, like you were in my tummy, blah, blah, blah. And I pushed you out. He's like, out of where? So I was like, and he goes, was it your feet? And I was just kind of like, no, it wasn't my feet. And then like, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to get into everything that I said, but I tried to like kind of explain it, but where I wasn't lying. So anyways, the next question, he's like, what does a meow mean?
Meow.
Yeah. Because we have 2 cats. Right. And so we go straight from that to what does a meow mean?
Okay. At least we're on a different track.
We're on a different track. Right? And
but also too, my 13-year-old boy brain right now, kind of the whole correlation between the two is also a bit like
let's pause.
Does he know more than we think he does?
No.
Okay.
No. He doesn't, Emily. But
I'm just making sure.
No, it's. I mean, that's my brain too, because I'm surrounded by 13-year-old boys disguised as 50-year-old men all day.
Yeah.
So that I felt like that was an easy one because I said, well, meowing is just a sound that they make. That's the sound that comes out of their mouth when they try to talk because they're cats and they don't speak English, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. We're good. I can hear. I'm like, the Mavs are on a run. I want to go see what's going on. And he's like, what comes before 0?
Now that's the one I'd have the hardest time with.
Yeah. I didn't feel like explaining negative numbers.
-1? Yeah.
Last night. Because if we're being honest, I don't know that I really understand negative numbers. Like, they're not really there.
If it's a negative number, does it really exist?
Right.
I mean, you can't really have -1 of something.
Yes.
I'm
not
out.
qualified.
Yeah, I'm out. You did the right thing.
I'm not qualified to talk to him about that. And then he goes straight on into, how do you make a baby?
How do you make one? Mm-hmm. That's the fun one.
How do you make a baby? And so I'm like, well, there's a mommy and a daddy, and they fall in love, and said something about body parts, and like that's why it takes 2 people. I don't know, man. Yeah. And so then Emily, and this is like this is really, I wouldn't say this on the radio, but it's just you. And and so he's like, oh well, and he looks at me, he's like, can we make a baby?
Oh.
And he's like cuddling up to me. Because I kind of said like snuggling, and when you love somebody, like if you're close to them,
right,
and you can make a baby,
right.
And so I'm like, no, baby, we can't make a baby. Like, Anyway, and then I think somehow I got out of it. Yeah. And I'm like,
did you fake an injury or something? I don't know. Like
I just wore him down. Like, he was so tired.
Right.
He was
should have
so
used like
cute.
really like elaborate medical terms and no, just
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
I know. Yeah,
Just age him out of the conversation.
It's one of the beautiful things about having a C-section is the whole where does it come from? Like, oh, there's
I
a hole.
know.
They cut a hole in mommy's tummy and pulled you out.
That was his first question when he said, "Where did he come from?"
Yeah.
He said, "Did they cut me out?"
Yeah.
So I don't know if he maybe talked to somebody who had that experience, or
Yeah.
if he just think I should have just said yes.
Well, and then follow-ups though.
That's
the older they
lying. I
get,
can't
know, but the
lie.
older they get, they do have the follow-ups. But not all. And then my kids will be like, "Well, they're not all mommies have the C-section. Some have it regular, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So where's that? And I'm like, "Well, I mean, there's an
And
area.
then they just get like so gross.
There's an area."
Ryder kind of had this moment when I
Yeah,
sort of
and they're
tried
like,
to
"Is it
explain
where you pee?" And I'm like, "It's not where I pee, but it's close to there."
It's so weird.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm trying to show my kids to tell my kids about sex and all that kind of stuff. But like when they have basic questions about something like that, you know,
lie.
no, I'm not trying to. I mean, and I'm not trying to get all graphic and talk about it all the time. But if they have questions, like I don't want them to think that they come out my poop hole. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean? I just don't, or
Right.
or my feet. Like I just think there's ways that you can tell them, and depending on how your kids are, you just kind of figure it out. I'm not going to offer it up, but they have questions, I'll answer them.
Yeah. Did you I know some people use like the real terms for your private parts for their kids.
Yeah, we used to not, and then now the older that they've gotten, I don't think penis is a big player now. Penis is a big player, and we never used that word when I was growing up. And then so it's
Why does it make me giggle?
I don't
Now I'm
know
a 12-year-old
because
girl.
yes. So and he'll say it, my penis or whatever. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, it's not. But I mean, it's I mean,
Yeah,
but then we
Ryder's
don't.
just started saying it.
I don't
I'm
know
like,
if the V word, which sounds so weird. Like I will say the F bomb, but I won't
Right.
say vagina, which is weird.
Well, I won't say it either. I will
It's-
never say it.
I don't
on
think
the
we've ever
microphone.
used vagina. And
Yeah.
I know. When I was growing up, it was a ta-ta. And then Henry couldn't say that. And so it was top. So that's it.
Top.
It's,
And then he'll
yeah.
learn about up tops,
It
and
used
then it'll
to be
get real confusing.
it used to be ding dings and top tops, and now it's
Well-
penis and top. But we don't have, like, just for the record, we don't talk a whole lot about this stuff all the
Right,
time.
but when you're potty training with little ones,
Yes.
like it
Stuff comes up.
Yeah, we just
Stuff
say
comes up.
I just say private
Private parts.
Like for Anna right
Yeah.
now, she's tiny.
Yeah.
but I know everyone handles that differently. But I
Yes,
just was
and there is no judgment. You cannot judge people's names for their privates.
No,
That is
as long as you
that
leave
is
them at the
against-
door when you like become an adult.
Yes, right. That is
If I ever met an adult that had
top. Yeah, it's not. But there should be no judgment. That's the parental judgment free zone is
Yes.
what you call the privates, unless it's like super creepy.
I
I don't want to know.
Right.
I don't want to know.
Then
So,
we
yeah.
might have to throw up a red flag. So I know that while you were trapped in isolation with Henry, he had some.
Yeah, I
You
mean, I
guys
think
had some similar
Well, I mean, I
conversations?
just think conversations like you're just having more of them, and you've got
Yeah.
more time. You're spending more time with your kids. But like, yeah, my kids learned during isolation that Henry was IVF, like that he, and he's seen pictures of him with as a fertilized egg and all that kind of
Wow.
stuff. Like we look through their baby books, and that's where
How
a lot
did
of
that
the
even
questions
come up?
came
Do you
from.
remember?
I can't remember, honestly. It's been months ago. But I wasn't, I think they were asking about surgeries. And I think a lot of it, I have C-section scar.
Right.
I mean, hysterectomy scars, like just one that I always say looks like a gunshot wound
we still
that
need
I
a hysterectomy talk.
that I got
Yeah.
when I was an extra in a rap video and got shot in a drive-by.
Of course. Yeah.
So anyway, asking about surgeries, I'm like, well, I had surgeries when I had you guys, and then I had, my boob surgery, and they're like,
And
what?
they're like, why do you
Yeah, and I'm
care?
like, yeah, I goes like, because you guys, I breastfed you guys, and they're like, oh my god, like. They freak out because they drank milk out of your mom's boob.
Well,
and and then I'm like, yeah, you guys pretty much ruined that thing that I had going on up there, and so I, decided to get them.
So he
pumped up.
learned about IVF and
Yeah,
your
IVF boob job. And I'm sure a lot of parents are mortified by that, and okay, that's
No.
fine. I mean, everybody I think my kids are, we talk about things that they're ready to talk about. And I'm like, again, I don't want to try to hide too much from them about whatever. I mean, I tell them about my Botox. Like, they're like, I'm going to get Botox. And they're like, well, I'm like, they put, needles in my head.
And
so-
Hattie's going to be asking for it next.
Right, and that
like
that
how
is
they
what-
want to use our makeup. It's
Yes,
kind of the same deal. Like,
right.
well, can I use
No,
your Botox?
that's where I'll draw the line. You put on some mascara, we're gonna draw the line at Botox.
Right.
Little one.
Speaking of, we have not given enough love yet to cryo. Yes, have you been doing it?
I have. I'm going again tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm obsessed. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our friends at Cutting Edge Cryo who
Yes.
hooked sisters up with
Yeah, I've been doing
like
it.
the love handles, and then
Yes.
now I'm doing some on the front of my stomach. I love it. So
I
it
love it
basically
too.
just freezes your fat cells. It's and people are like, does it last? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I've noticed a huge difference. Yeah, they're great.
Cutting
They're
Edge Cryo.
Cutting Edge Cryo in.
Gotta go check it out.
yeah.
It's just for all that like stubborn
Just
extra
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, my husband is actually like, hey, what about 'cause
Oh, he's picking out.
was
He's
like,
circling your fat.
Yeah. No, he was like asking about. He was like, well, I mean.
Oh,
I bet-
he wants it.
Yeah, he's like, I got a little problem area over here. Laughing. So.
I thought he was pointing out where you still needed it. I was like, that is grounds for
hell
dismissal.
No. He knows better than that. Yeah.
Yes,
So
they've
I'm
been
going
awesome.
again tomorrow. We'll hopefully keep having them on board. They're fantastic to
Yeah.
work with for sure.
We are very thankful for them. Have
We
we
are-
covered everything?
We've covered everything.
We've covered
This
a lot.
has been a long one,
Has it?
but I think we needed it.
Yeah,
It's been a little more time between episode 23 and 24.
exactly.
Hit a
But
lot.
we'll be back on the weekly.
Yeah, we're
thing.
good.
We just had to take a breather. Kelly was gone. I was on like week 3 of being alone
I know.
and juggling childcare. I was just like,
No, can't wait
Need a little
to
break.
see what we tell our kids before episode 25.
I'll try to be more prepared this
know,
time,
exactly.
or at least
Me
start
too.
my conversations way before tip off or puck drop.
There you go.
Earlier bedtimes, just in case.
Got to be smart.
Well, it's been fun. It's
has
been
been
fun catching back up with you. I know you got to go out to the ballpark
Yes.
tonight. So good luck.
All right, that's going to do it for us.
Yes.
Consistent Cray 2020.
We're still cray.
Mom
Still here, still
game.
cray.
Mom game out.
Mom game out.